Prophetic words from Donald Trump back in October 2024 on the Joe Rogan Experience, where he highlighted how California's poor water and forest management has created a huge risk of dangerous fires.
They said, we have no water. I said, do you have a drought? No, we don't have a drought. I said, why don't you have no water? Because the water isn't allowed to flow down. It's got a natural flow from Canada all the way up north. Water, more water than they could ever use. And in order to protect a tiny little fish, the water up north gets routed into the Pacific Ocean. Millions and millions of gallons of water gets poured. I could have water for all of that land. Water for your forests. You know, your forests are dry as a bone.
Yeah.
Okay?
Dangerous.
That water could be routed. You know, you could have everything. Oh, not only dangerous, billions of dollars a year they spend on forest fires. And, you know, there's a case with the environment. They're not allowed to rake their forests because you're not allowed to touch it. And all they have to do is clean their forest, meaning rake it up, get rid of the leaves, get rid of, leaves that are sitting there for 5 years. And
we'll certainly get rid of the dead fall.
And get rid of the trees that have fallen.
Yeah.
From months ago in LA County, Donald Trump addressed the need for California to manage its water resources more effectively. He urged the state to send more water downstate, stating, California has so much water. You could redirect it into the hills where the dead forests are. The dampened land would help prevent many of these devastating wildfires. How is Governor Newsom so out of touch?
Of all the dead forests, where the forests are so brittle, because no place is like California. I go to Austria. The head of Austria tells me, we have trees that are much more flammable than what you have in California. We never have forest fires because they maintain their forests. And you have all that water that could be used as water, what they call water flow, where where the land would be damp. And you'd stop many of these horrible fires that are costing billions and billions of dollars by the federal government, etc. So one thing I'm going to do for California, vote for me, California. I'm going to give you safety. I'm going to give you a great border. And I'm going to give you more water than almost anybody has. And the farmers up north are going to be able to use 100% of their land, not 1% of their land.
Former President Trump has demanded that California overhaul its election laws, implement voter ID requirements, and reverse environmental policies as conditions for receiving federal wildfire relief funds. He criticized FEMA's response to Hurricane Helene recovery efforts in North Carolina, suggesting that the White House and the Republican National Committee RNC should directly manage the distribution of relief funds. Additionally, Trump has threatened to withhold wildfire relief funding for Los Angeles unless the city complies with his demands, including releasing water. He has also proposed issuing an executive order to reform or potentially eliminate FEMA.
I'll also be signing an executive order to begin the process of fundamentally reforming and overhauling FEMA, or maybe getting rid of FEMA. I think, frankly, FEMA is not good. I think when you have a problem like this, I think you want to go and, whether it's a Democrat or Republican governor, you want to use your state to fix it and not waste time calling FEMA. And then FEMA gets here and they don't know the area, they've never been to the area, and they want to give you rules that you've never heard about. They want to bring people that aren't as good as the people you already have. And FEMA's turned out to be a disaster. And you could go back a long way. You could go back to Louisiana. You could go back to some of the things that took place in Texas. It turns out to be the state that ends up doing the work. It just complicates it. I think we're going to recommend that FEMA go away.
Oh, wow! Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe for more updates.